Moderna seem to have had good success with tweaking their vaccine to deal with Omicron.
They have, yeah. They announced their results, I think about 4 days ago now, the Omicron vaccine. Really effective, very high antibody response. It was a hugely effective vaccine. In the trial, of course, it's the first trial with this. So now we have the first Omicron-specific vaccine. So the prediction will be that this will now become the one to use, obviously, because Omicron is easily the most dominant one in the world at the moment. And then its siblings, BA4 and 5. And they reported a huge antibody response. The response was so strong, Jonathan, they're saying it might last a year. So in other words, this might be what we're looking for. You know, you get your vaccine, it protects you for at least a year, and then becomes like the flu vaccine in a sense, because we still don't know how many times we need to repeat boosting, for example, in people. But this vaccine by Moderna looks really interesting, it must be said.
Now, it's a slippery little thing, the Omicron variant, because it's already changed at least 5 times and probably more that we haven't heard about. So how confident are we that, you know, there won't be something else coming down the track? We won't have another South African mutation or some other mutation in some part of the world that changes Omicron into whatever the next letter is in the Greek alphabet. Yeah,
sadly, that's the big unknown, and we're watching out for that. There could be a brand new variant could emerge, especially with so much infection happening all over the world. You see, every time the virus divides, there's a risk of another variant, you know. But at the moment, it looks as if Omicron is the one. And at the conference I was at in Boston on Tuesday, a very famous infectious disease doctor said to me, this might be the one we want. And it's a strange way to put it in a way. But this is very transmissible, but doesn't cause a severe disease. And in fact, if you have Omicron, it looks very different to say, Delta or the previous one. So for example, the sense of taste and smell is not a feature of Omicron. 1 in 5 have that, whereas half the people lose their smell and taste with previous variants, you know. And then the good news, Jonathan, is you're much less likely to get long COVID if you have Omicron. So one study shows 4.4% of people got long COVID, whereas with Delta it was 10.8%, you know. So it does seem like a slightly more benign virus, if you know what I mean. However, if you're not vaccinated, it can cause severe disease. And these kinds of numbers are in the vaccinated population, basically.
Yeah, when we're looking at the Moderna vaccine, so the booster, as it will be, it will have the original Moderna and this other bit stuck onto it. So what's different about the bit they've stuck onto?
Well, what's great is it's called a bivalent vaccine, to give you another new word for you to learn, Jonathan. So bivalent means it's got 2 spikes. It's got the spike from Omicron and the spike from the Wuhan strain. You see, the original spike, if you like, that's in the vaccine. And now they've added Omicron in. You know, so you're getting 2 for the price of 1, effectively. So it will protect you. And in fact, in the trials, Jonathan, and the so the studies they did, are protected against any variant that they've tested so far. This new Moderna vaccine was protective, at least to generate antibody response, you know. So that's the future, by the way. We will see these bivalent, multivalent vaccines are the ones we're going to see in the future anyway. And remember, Jonathan, there's something like 40 vaccines still in trials, amazingly, you know. And the dream is a universal vaccine against any coronavirus. Should a new one jump from, say, bats into humans again, and we don't even think about that, but there is a risk of that, a universal vaccine against any coronavirus would protect us in that situation as well.